One of my big takeaways from being in the tech industry for 20 years is that if you're smart, hardworking, and don't have behaviors that sabotage yourself, you will be successful in this industry. Over 2 decades. I mean, I've just seen it. How could you not? You have such tailwinds at your back. There's so much value being created. We saw over the past year, more money, more LP dollars have gone into venture capital by far than any other year. And more money, more returns is coming out. That's why more money's going in.
You do know I'm on the call when you say anybody could be successful just by showing up.
Right. And
but you said but the first part is the critical part. You just said who are not prone to self-sabotage. There is an enormous number of people who are prone to I was one. I am still one. But I work on it every day.
How do you self-sabotage yourself? Your ego?
He blew up his firm.
That's true. But I think he blew it up because I thought it was creative destruction. I think he wasn't enjoying it and he needed to start over.
He's talked about it publicly. He said it.
But the blowing up of how do you reconcile the blowing up of the firm, Chamath? Whatever number of years later, and rebooting it.
This is all old news. It's like, the amount of success and capital and money that we've made is undisputable. And I've made it under all kinds of weather conditions. So, it all kind of speaks for itself. But the problem is, again, if you ask an average person, I don't think they care. I don't think they know. I don't think they have an opinion. If you ask some, blithering
I was asking
hater,
because I'm interested in how you reconcile or look back on it. Now it's so much distance.
I'll tell you from an outside perspective how I reconcile Chamath's decision there is I think that as you become more successful, your tolerance for doing stuff you don't want to do really goes down.
Totally.
Zero.
It goes to zero. 100%.
And of course, Chamath has got to a point where he didn't want to be doing it and he blew it up.
Zero.
By the way, that is a characterization as well that, sometimes in your career, you have to make it, and in your personal life, you have to make a tough decision. And there is no good outcome. There is no good way to frame it. There's no graceful
way to do it.
But there are these moments where you got a rock falling on you from one side and a rock falling on you from the other side, and you're going to have to make a tough decision to get out of the way.
I said to myself a long time ago that if I was ever lucky to actually be wealthy enough where my wealth would change by meaningful amounts, every order of magnitude, I would do something different. And so, you can do the fucking math. So there it is.
It's interesting being friends with you and watching it. And then also, I hate to give, Phil Hellmuth any credit.
There it is.
But being friends with Phil Hellmuth and watching him set outrageous goals for himself in poker, I just thought, you know what? You got to set some outrageous goals for yourself. And that's how I sort of broke through. As I just said, I want to be number one at everything I do. I want to be the largest syndicate, the most prolific investor.
The minute I realized that I was basically going to become, a billionaire because of my Facebook stock, I fucking quit. And the craziest thing about it is I left so much stock on the table. It's like $2-3 billion of fucking stock. I couldn't care less. And then, once I figured out that there was something that you can do with capital that's even more meaningful than just investing in companies at a small scale, but now you can, control companies and really allocate and shape how economy flows, I made a different set of decisions. And now I'm here. And if I increase it by another order of magnitude, I'll make a different set of decisions. And that's poorly understood by folks because, again, it doesn't map into a worldview. But the point is, it maps into something that keeps me whole and sane, and it allows me to not be zero-sum about everybody else's success. And that's what I think we need to teach people. Try stuff. It's okay to fail because that's, as long as you're not self-sabotaging yourself, David said it so well, you will eventually be successful.
What have you learned, David? In this next chapter, being an investor capital allocator.
Me?
Yeah, David, you.
Well, that's
have you
what
learned anything, or you just
No, it's what I said. I mean, the thing that's happening right now is just the tech economy keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's just an explosion. There's an explosion in the number of unicorns, an explosion in the amount of funding that's available, explosion in the amount of returns being generated. There are now so many VCs that VCs are literally throwing money at people. I mean, any half decent idea now gets funded. The idea that somehow this ecosystem is elitist or exclusionary, it's absurd, right? I mean, you've got micro VCs now who no one has to go to Sand Hill Road anymore, right? I mean, there are so many ways to raise money.
There's nobody on Sand Hill Road. It's a ghost town. Remember the traffic jam? I went down there the other day and there was no traffic jam. I was speaking at Stanford and literally I was like, I got to put 15 minutes into my drive to get through that Sand Hill Road because it was at 8:30. Right. I zipped down Sand Hill Road to Stanford. There was 2 cars.
So the tech ecosystem is so osmotic. It's so permeable in terms of allowing new people in. In fact, it's sucking in all the talent it can find because it can't hire enough people, even in the worst economic conditions. And yet, when it comes to talking about social and political, talking about opportunity in social and political terms, the only thing you ever hear is that, the ecosystem is somehow elitist or exclusionary. And
I think that's old news. That might have been valid 15, 20 years ago. I know when I went to Sand Hill Road for the first time 15, 20 years ago, it was a bunch of white partners who went to Stanford or had MBAs from, Harvard, but that's not the case now. It's a bunch of people with rolling funds and micro VCs and syndicates.
Totally.
And everything in between.
If you're so wrapped up in being a social justice warrior that you've just missed that there is like basically infinite opportunity, then it's on you. You're sabotaging yourself. And then 5-10 years later, you're still stuck in that role.
The conditions have changed.
And then you become bitter. And then you become bitter, to Jamal's point.
Freeberg, how hard was it for you to leave Google? And what was that like?
I was at Google for 2.5 years. It had gone through, I joined before the IPO. I was like a couple hundred employees, just under 1,000 employees. And then we went public. I got this huge bonus from Sergey to stick around when I was thinking about leaving. I mean, for me, it was like
7 figures, 8 figures.
It was a couple thousand shares of stock and like $250,000 of cash, and I gave it up. It'd be worth a lot of money, but I just felt like, and I learned so much at Google, and I had such an appreciation for the team there and the company. And by the way, I worked at Google, and all of a sudden, the company went public and I could buy a house. I mean, it was an incredible moment for me. And I suddenly felt what Chamath talked about, which is this freedom in my life. Suddenly I had hit that next plateau of wealth where I now had a couple $100,000 of net worth, and I could leave, or I guess I had over $1 million of net worth, and I could now leave and go do something I wanted to go do with I had a couple $100,000, and I could go leave and do what I wanted to do, which was to build my own business and have the freedom to make decisions. And so I honestly felt like really fine just leaving all that money behind. I left millions of dollars behind for when I left Google after being there for 2.5 years to start my company. It was a struggle, right? Like, I mean, as you guys know, building a business, which I did from 2006 to 2013, was a nightmare. Every day was a nightmare. I say in entrepreneurism, I've said this publicly before, but it feels like every day you're taking a step backwards, and 1 out of 5 days you take a 5-step leap forward. So at the end of a week, you're 1 step ahead of where you started, but your existential memory is that you're failing every day.
Every day.
And suddenly you wake up and 7 years have gone by and you're like, oh shit, we've got an amazing business. And someone wants to buy it for $1 billion. And if you don't have the grit and the guts and the determination to push through those daily battles and deal with that hardship, and I don't think that being in the comfort of the big system of Google felt right for me. I think being in the playing field and battling it out every day is right for me. And so it was the right call for me. Obviously, it worked out. But, still, I make choices in my life in terms of what do I want to do? Do I want to go live on a yacht or have some luxury or do whatever? And I prefer to just make great businesses and turn science into commercial opportunity. And that's how I choose to spend my time.
And I just wanted to send this out to the whole panel. Do you ever think, having hit the home runs and having the cash to literally retire at this age and then just, kiteboard or do whatever, do you ever think about retirement and not going into work?
Fuck no.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel you want to work harder?
Yesterday, as an example, was an incredible day because I was able to bicycle with Nat and the youngest to go get a gelato. I had a kickoff meeting for a startup that's doing something incredible in batteries. Where, starting from scratch, Series A, co-founders, me and the other director, and we're literally starting. And I remember the feeling of having done this now 30 or 40 times, and it's the best feeling.
La Dolce Vita.
And then I had a call because I'm trying to put more than $1 billion to work in a different battery idea. And I thought to myself, God, I'm so fucking lucky. And it was a grindy, long day, and I had never felt more thankful. So why would I? You could, and I don't know. I feel just so blessed.
Sax, you ever think about hanging it up? Or are you more motivated to go to work every day? Are you annoyed?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's giving me the most energy right now is we're in a private beta on Call-In, this app that we incubated, and it's
better.
It's good, and it's getting better every day, and I'm really enjoying tinkering on it. And I feel like, it's kind of like...
You're a good tinkerer, by the way. You're a good product iterator.
You're good at tickling. The tickling.
We tried to hire Sax as VP of product at Facebook.
What?
Yeah.
What would that have paid him?
He's 2000 Sax.
Probably billions.
The dates right. 7 billions, probably.
Probably
7
billions.
or 8. 2007 or 8.
You regret not taking that gig?
No, because I did Yammer instead, and Yammer was successful, and I got to be my own boss, and that was better. So I don't know if I probably wouldn't have made as much money, but look, I've done like you guys. I've made lots of decisions that made me less money. If I just stayed at PayPal for 20 years. My stock would have been worth many, many billions, right? That's why I tell people, don't sell everything. Let your winners ride at least partially. Yeah, I mean, look, I was an investor in Facebook. If I had just kept all of that stock, that'd be worth $1 billion today. So, it's pretty crazy. Well, sell some, just don't sell everything.
That's my new philosophy.
Yeah,
just
but to your point about what gives me enjoyment, I mean, I'm really having fun tinkering with this app. And you know what it's like? It's like a new season. If you were in like the NBA or something, it's like, can we make a championship run? Can we get one more ring?
Yes.
And so you're like, it'd be like saying to somebody, hey, you already got, to an NBA champion. Hey, you got 3 rings. Why do you want a 4th? And it's like, are you kidding me? While I'm still in this league, while I'm young enough and healthy enough to make a run at one more ring, how could you not want to do that?
You got to go for it. I can see you're engaged, which is great to see. All right, listen, this has been an amazing episode. We will see you all next week. If you like the show, thanks. The end. We're not going to beg you.
Go try something. Go try something, everybody. Go try something.
Do something. Anything possible.
Try
and fail.
Just try.
Read a book outside of your comfort zone. Read something that you wouldn't have otherwise read.
Love you guys.
But I love you guys. Love you, Becky. See you soon.
Love everybody listening too. Love everybody.
I mean, literally, if you're listening to this and you are buying into this, that the system is rigged.
Don't be a troll.
Don't be a troll. Don't be a douche. Like, the system is not rigged. If anything, the system is rigged for you to participate and succeed. Join the party.
The system is malleable. The system
what do you mean by this?
If you want to change the world, the system is malleable enough that if you pursue it in the right way, you can make a dent.
You can. Who is this? Who is this little?
Sergio.
Hey, look how happy you are. Who's the best dad? Where's your dad? All right, we'll see you all next time.